My name is Catherine Williams. I'm dying. Stage 4 cancer. 6 months to live. When the doctors told me, I wasn't thinking about my $2.8 million fortune. I was thinking about my grandson Tyler, the one who only called when he needed money. 2 days after my diagnosis, he showed up at my door saying he wanted to take care of me. But I knew the truth. He wanted my inheritance. What he didn't know was that I was about to give him something far more valuable, and it would change both of our lives forever. Let me start from the beginning. I'm 67 years old, living alone in a 4-bedroom house in Pasadena, California. My husband James died 3 years ago from a heart attack. He left me comfortable, very comfortable. $2.8 million in investments, this house worth another $1.5 million, properties in San Diego. I never had to worry about money again. But money doesn't keep you warm at night. Money doesn't call you on Sundays. Money doesn't care if you're dying alone. I have 3 children. Sarah lives in Boston with her hedge fund manager husband. Michael is in Seattle, too busy with his tech startup to visit. And Jennifer is in San Francisco, just an hour away. But she might as well be on another planet. They all called when I told them about the cancer. They all said the right things. They all promised to visit more. None of them did. That's when Tyler appeared. My grandson, Jennifer's son. 28 years old and still living like he's 21. Tyler had always been the black sheep of the family. No steady job, no direction, spending his days playing video games in his studio apartment in Oakland. He dropped out of college, bounced from one failed venture to another, borrowed money from everyone and rarely paid it back. For years, he only came to see me when he needed money. That pattern had defined our entire relationship. I would see his number on my phone, and my heart would jump, thinking maybe this time he just wanted to talk, just wanted to see his grandmother. But it was always the same. Rent was due. His car broke down. He had a business idea that just needed a little capital. I always gave him something. Not because I believed his stories, but because he was my grandson. And I kept hoping that one day he would change. That hope was the only thing that kept me from cutting him off completely. 2 days after I told the family about my diagnosis, Tyler appeared at my door. He had flowers, cheap ones from the grocery store, but still, it was something. He hugged me tight and said he was so sorry. He said he wanted to help. He said he could move in and take care of me. I looked into his eyes, and I knew. I knew exactly why he was there. He wanted to make sure he was in the will. He wanted to secure his inheritance. I could have said no. I could have told him I saw right through him. But something stopped me. Maybe it was loneliness. Maybe it was hope. Or maybe it was God whispering in my ear that this was supposed to happen. So I said yes. Tyler moved into the guest room the next week. At first it was exactly what I expected. He was helpful, sure, but I caught him going through papers in James's old study. I saw him searching online for information about wills and probate. He asked me careful questions about my estate planning, disguised as concern. Do you have everything organized, Grandma? Have you talked to a lawyer recently? Just want to make sure you're taken care of. I pretended not to notice. I played the role of the grateful grandmother, so happy to have company in her final days. The chemotherapy started 2 weeks after Tyler moved in. They told me it might buy me a few more months, but it wouldn't cure me. Nothing would cure me. The first session wasn't so bad. Tyler drove me to the hospital, waited during the treatment, drove me home. He made me soup that night, Campbell's from a can, but he heated it up and brought it to me with crackers. He only came to see me when he needed money, I thought, as I watched him awkwardly arrange the tray. But here he was, playing nurse. The second session destroyed me. I spent 3 days vomiting, so weak I couldn't get out of bed. Tyler had to help me to the bathroom. He had to hold my hair when I threw up. He had to see me at my absolute worst. No dignity, no pretense, just a sick old woman who couldn't control her own body. The boy who only came when he needed money was now holding my hair while I vomited. Life has a strange way of teaching us lessons. I thought he might leave. I thought he might decide the inheritance wasn't worth this. But he stayed. What I didn't know was that in 72 hours everything would change. Tyler would face a moment that would test whether his transformation was real or just another performance. One night, around 2 in the morning, I woke up feeling like I was drowning. I couldn't breathe. I tried to call out, but nothing came. Panic flooded through me. This is it, I thought. This is how I die. Alone in the dark, choking. Then Tyler was there. I don't know how he heard me, but suddenly he was lifting me up, supporting my back, helping me breathe. He called 911. He rode with me in the ambulance. At the emergency room, he held my hand while they stabilized me. When I finally could speak again, I saw his face. He had been crying, really crying. Not performative tears for show, but genuine fear and relief. That's when I first wondered if maybe, just maybe, something real was happening. After we got home from the hospital, things started to change. Small things at first. Tyler stopped going through my papers. He started asking me about my life, my memories with his grandfather, what it was like when his mother was young. He cooked real meals, learning from YouTube videos. He wasn't good at it, but he tried. He even burned himself once trying to make my favorite pot roast, and I laughed for the first time in weeks. We fell into a routine. Morning coffee on the patio. He would read me the news. Afternoons were for my soap operas, which he pretended to hate, but I caught him getting invested in the storylines. Evenings we would look at old photo albums. I told him stories about his grandfather, about James and me traveling through Europe in our 30s, about the early years, when we had nothing but each other and big dreams. Your grandfather always said God puts us exactly where we need to be, I told Tyler one evening, as we watched the sunset paint the San Gabriel Mountains orange and purple. Even when it doesn't make sense, even when it hurts, there's a reason. Tyler was quiet for a long time. Then he said, I never really believed in that stuff, Grandma. But being here with you, I don't know. Maybe there's something to it. Have you ever seen someone truly change? Not just say they'll change, but actually become a different person. Drop a comment if you've witnessed a real transformation, because what I was watching was nothing short of a miracle. The weeks turned into months. I was still dying, but slower than expected. The doctors seemed surprised. One even said that having support, having someone to care for, can sometimes extend life. Tyler took me to the beach one Sunday. He half carried me down to the sand at Will Rogers State Beach. We sat there for 2 hours, just watching the waves roll in. He told me about his dreams, his real dreams, not the get-rich-quick schemes. He wanted to write. He had always wanted to write, but was afraid he wasn't good enough. I told him fear is just pride in disguise. We're afraid of failure because we're proud. But if we could let go of that pride, we'd be free to try anything. He started writing. Every morning after our coffee, he would spend 2 hours working on a novel. He showed me pages sometimes. It wasn't perfect, but it was honest. It was him, really him, not the version he thought he should be. I saw my grandson becoming a man right before my eyes. He used to only come when he needed money. That old wound still ached sometimes, but it was healing, because now he came to see me because he wanted to, because he loved me. Before I continue, if this story is touching your heart, please hit that subscribe button and the bell icon. These stories take days to research and create, and your support means everything. Now let me tell you what happened next, because this is where everything changed. One afternoon, Tyler got a call. A friend from college was starting a company in Los Angeles and wanted Tyler to come work for him. Good salary, real opportunity, great benefits. Tyler said he'd think about it and hung up. I asked him what he was going to say. He looked at me with those brown eyes, James's eyes, and said something I'll never forget. I'm going to say no, Grandma. I'm not leaving you. I reminded him that I was dying, that he had his whole life ahead of him, that he shouldn't sacrifice opportunities for me. He shook his head. You're not a sacrifice, he said. You're more important than any job. This matters more than anything else I could be doing. I kept thinking about all those years when he only came when he needed money. And now, here he was, choosing me over everything else. Just when I started to believe he had really changed, this happened. And honestly, I never saw it coming. That's when I knew for certain. He had changed. Really, truly changed. The boy who only came when he needed money was gone. In his place was a man who understood what really mattered. I cried that night, alone in my room. But they were good tears. Grateful tears. God doesn't give up on us, I whispered into the darkness. He never does. My health deteriorated rapidly after that. The cancer had spread everywhere. The doctors recommended hospice. I came home for the last time on a Wednesday. Tyler converted the living room into a bedroom so I wouldn't have to climb stairs. He slept on the couch so he could hear me if I needed anything. My children finally came to visit. Sarah flew in from Boston. Michael drove down from Seattle. Jennifer came from San Francisco. They sat around my bed and cried and said they were sorry they hadn't been there more. I forgave them because holding grudges takes energy I didn't have. But Tyler was the one who stayed. Tyler was the one who woke up at 3 a.m. to give me morphine. Tyler was the one who read to me when I couldn't sleep. Tyler was the one who told me it was okay, that I could let go, that he would be all right. He used to only come when he needed money. Now, he was refusing money to stay with me. How's that for a transformation? I wanted to tell him so many things, but words were getting harder. I had prepared an envelope weeks earlier. What I'm about to tell you next is the part that still makes Tyler cry when he talks about it. The envelope I gave him contained something he never expected. I gave it to him on what would turn out to be my last coherent day. Open this after I'm gone, I whispered. He tried to refuse it, said we didn't need to talk about that stuff, but I insisted. He took it and promised. The end came peacefully. I wasn't afraid. Tyler was holding my hand. I looked at him one last time and managed to say what I needed him to know. You already gave me the greatest gift, Tyler. You gave me yourself. Then I closed my eyes and felt nothing but peace. I like to think James was waiting for me on the other side. I like to think God was smiling, knowing his plan had worked perfectly. Tyler told me later what happened after I died. He held my hand for another hour, just sitting there, not wanting to let go. When the hospice nurse finally convinced him it was time, he remembered the envelope. He opened it in his car, unable to wait until he got home. Inside was a letter and documents from my attorney. The letter told him everything, that I had known from the start why he came, that I had seen him searching for my will, that I had almost sent him away, but decided to give him one chance, one last chance to become the man I knew he could be. I told him in that letter that I had watched him transform. I had seen the moment he stopped pretending and started caring. I had witnessed a miracle, the kind that happens when someone finally understands what love really means. The documents showed that yes, I had left him everything, not because he was entitled to it, not because of obligation or family duty, but because he had earned it through his transformation. He had shown me that people can change, that redemption is real, that love is more powerful than selfishness. Tyler used the money to start a foundation. The Catherine Williams Foundation provides support for elderly people who are dying alone. They match volunteers with seniors in hospice, ensuring no one has to face death without companionship. He runs it himself, working 70-hour weeks. He published his novel last year. It's about a selfish young man who learns what really matters from his dying grandmother. It's our story, but also everyone's story. He only came to see me when he needed money. That used to be true. But in the end, he came because he needed me in a completely different way. He needed to learn how to love without conditions. He needed to discover that worth isn't measured in dollars, but in moments, in presence, in showing up, even when it's hard. I gave him money, yes, but more importantly, I gave him time. Time to change, time to grow, time to become who he was always meant to be. I wonder how many of us are waiting for the perfect moment to show love to someone. How many of us are holding back, protecting ourselves, refusing to take that risk? My advice? Don't wait. Take the chance, because you never know how much time you really have. Sometimes I think about those last months. If I had sent Tyler away, he might still be that lost boy, chasing schemes and avoiding real life. If I had guarded my heart, and refused to hope, I would have died alone, bitter, convinced that no one really cared. But I took a chance on grace. I believed that God puts us exactly where we need to be. And I was right. My story isn't about a grandmother who was betrayed. It's about a grandmother who bet on love and won. It's about a young man who came for an inheritance and found something far more valuable. It's about redemption, second chances, and the transformative power of unconditional love. I came into this situation expecting nothing and was given everything that truly matters. I thought I was the one giving Tyler a gift in that will. But the truth is, he gave me the greatest gift first. He gave me hope. He showed me that people can change, that love can break through even the hardest hearts, and that family isn't about blood or money. It's about choosing to show up day after day and caring for someone just because they matter. That's the inheritance I really wanted to leave behind. Not money, though that helps, but the knowledge that love is always worth the risk, that transformation is always possible, that we're never too old to witness miracles and never too lost to find our way home. Tyler found his way home, and in doing so, he gave me the most peaceful death anyone could ask for, surrounded by love, knowing that my life had made a difference, confident that the best parts of me would live on in him. He only came to see me when he needed money, but he stayed because he needed love, and that made all the difference. If Tyler's transformation moved you, if you believe in second chances, please leave a comment below sharing your own story. Have you ever watched someone change right before your eyes? Have you ever been given a second chance yourself? I read every single comment, and your stories inspire me. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more real-life stories about family, redemption, and the power of love. Thank you for being here.